Hello and welcome to a new episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. My name is Mehmet, and as you know, in each episode, I cover different topics from emerging tech, startups, entrepreneurships. Recently, as you have noticed, I'm focusing on the human aspects of startups and founders and entrepreneurship. And this is why I have with me today from Bali, Gil Petersil, who's a networking mastery coach. Gil, thank you very much for being on the show today. If you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you are up to.
Yeah, of course, Mehmet. Thank you so much for asking me to join you on this interview. It's nice that right now I happen to be for the first time ever at the Jumeirah Bali, my first time, and
Nice.
you are in Dubai, so we have a nice connection between us. I
Right.
also love that it's the first time that I'm speaking to someone who very much comes from the tech world, and the CTO aspect of things is very interesting because when you Google what it is that I love and a big passion of mine, something I've been studying for many years and practicing, the arts and sciences of human networking. If you Google networking, it's mostly aspects in the CTO world. It's mostly connected to computers. For 10 years now, Mehmet, I've been going very deep to studying how we connect and how we build relationships. What does it mean to flourish communities? What does it mean to audit your network, strategize your network, monetize your network? What does it mean to change industries and move countries? And the reason it's been interesting for me, because without truly noticing it for the first 30 years of my life, I had to go through that myself. I moved countries many times with my family and after without my family. I moved industries more than 10 times. As a serial entrepreneur, I've gotten my hands dirty in so many different industries, and successful failures have been a big part of my growth. So the last 10 years, I've really gone very deep into outside of being an entrepreneur and setting up a very successful events company, that's an educational tourism, taking people to events like Tony Robbins, Eckhart Tolle, and many of the other greatest speakers in the world, to having investments in mobile app and e-commerce and a restaurant and a juice bar and so many other different projects that basically help me understand one thing: the power that we have within our network is beyond most of our understanding. And outside of being a serial entrepreneur, I just decided that I need to give this back more. So I jumped on many stages around the world. Last year, I hit over 1,000 different stages and events that I've hosted
Wow.
myself around the world. And it was really amazing because I understand that this is not my business. This is my mission. My businesses were all these businesses, but my mission was to give people out there, especially entrepreneurs, give them these hacks and methodologies that we don't get taught in school: how to network and what does it mean to build a community and what does it mean to make friends. And I've basically been able to utilize these methodologies from multiple governments, hundreds of corporations, thousands of entrepreneurs around the world that are now using methodologies instead of thinking about marketing and sales or HR facilitation or HR team building, looking at it all as it's all a different aspect of how we network with our friends, with our family, with our team, with our investors, with our community. And I've basically found a lot of hacks around it. And it's just become a mission to give it back to people and travel around the world and share it with people. And, while doing this, I managed to live in places like this and seeing helicopters go behind me and having, three amazing kids and being able to do a lot of philanthropy in the world to make a difference. It's just been a big blessing to be here today and be able to share as much as I can with your community today.
Thank you very much for this introduction, Gil. And actually, yeah, actually yesterday I was on another mastermind around networking, and we were talking about the same thing, that we need more of this. We need people to know, understand why it's important. So the first question I would ask you: you've been a serial entrepreneur, all your career. How, the personal development and, your journey of learning about networking helped you in growing your businesses? The reason I'm asking you this way, because I want fellow entrepreneurs, fellow startup founders to listen also to this. And as you mentioned, because I don't want them to focus only on the features and, the things in from technical perspective. I want them also to understand the human aspect of it.
course. What a beautiful question. So because, many people in your audience might be more on the technical aspect, even though they're entrepreneurs, they could still be on the tech side. The depth, if you look at the real depth of computer networking, you just go on Google, you type networking. It's all about computers connecting with each other in order to process something faster and give us output. That's what we want computers to do, whether it's servers, computers, we want them to be able to connect with each other. Why can't we do that at that speed? Why can't we not sit in front of each other and instead of blah, 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 small talk, trying to oversell myself or present myself and not truly listen and not truly learn to be present with someone? When two computers network, they are fully present with each other. They give full attention to that transfer of data. As humans, we've lost that. As humans, we sometimes forget that in order to really connect, we need that H to H, human to human, whether you're looking at it on a deep, deep spiritual level of opening your heart up and having it facing to each other and really sharing of what I need right now in the business and what, action plan do I need seeing happen? Or, how can we become more, a stronger strategic partnerships in business? Or this is really why we need money right now invested in the company, not just how much money we need if we're speaking to investors. If we look at that aspect, all the way to the scientific aspects of networking, because I've been studying this a lot. I've been studying human networking. I've been studying a lot about how computers network, but the scientific aspects of networking is much more connected to human frequencies. What does it mean that animals, plants, and humans actually have vibrations in the way we connect each other? And imagine if like you're tuning a radio, getting to the right frequency so you can listen to the right radio channel. Imagine if you knew that there's a lot of simple hacks, simple practices, really like eating an apple, brushing your teeth, doing some things that you're drinking water enough times a day, whatever it is, something that's very simple. Imagine if you knew these very simple practices and hacks that allowed you to tune for you to become better at networking, like really to achieve mastery levels of speaking to kings of countries and walking up to a president of a country, walking up to any billionaire, walking up to a beautiful blonde sitting at the bar that you would never walk up to because you don't have these hacks. And suddenly you step into that hack, you step into that mindset and you walk up to her. And even though you're nervous and you don't think she'll talk to you, you find a way to talk to her. And 13 years later, she's still married to me. Because if I didn't have those hacks back then, I would never walk up to her. If I didn't have these understanding, these changes of different codes, it's basically, my first book is called The New Code of Networking. If I didn't have these new codes that I can look into, I would never be able to walk up to Richard Branson and start a conversation with him because in my head, the code that was placed in my head was like, no, Richard is very high level. He's too busy. He's talking to other people. Who am I to speak to him? I don't know what to say to him. I'm not dressed well enough, blah, blah. We come up with all these codes that are old, wrong code. So in business, Mehmet, there is never an ending to where network can help us to go global with our business. Instead of looking for one investor, you look at a pool of investors. Instead of looking for clients, you find strategic partnerships where they give me clients every single day. I don't need to spend money on sales and marketing to look for clients. I could just identify strategic partners outside of my network. So all of these different opportunities are there. Just we've never been taught that these programs are right there in front of us. We just need to adjust our code of networking.
That's very insightful, and it brought to my mind a question. Now, usually tech people are known to be introverts. So, how can an introvert crack the code and become a master in network?
Yeah, amazing. Great. So first of all, hi, I'm Gil Petersil. I'm an example. In my early 30s, I had a coach who told me, um, do you know you're an introvert? And I was like, what do you mean? Of course not. Look at me. I'm like hosting all these events. I'm a cool guy. I was in England at the time and I was just moving to Moscow. And he's like, no, you're definitely an introvert. I'm like, no, come on. And he said, like, take these tests. And I literally took these different tests online and I understood that I'm actually a level 3, level 4, sometimes I'm an introvert, but only like my wife would see me in those situations because I've learned to hack my program. I've basically rewired the way I am networking. So Yeah, I'm an introvert. I'm an immigrant since the age of 10, until my early 20s. I spoke English with a very thick accent. My first language is Hebrew. I was born in Israel. And only at the age of 10, I moved to Canada where I learned French for a few years. And only at the age of 13, then I start to pick up English with barely any formal English classes. So imagine as an introvert, immigrant, not confident young guy, I had to step out of those shells. And I did it back then, not knowing there were hacks. So I did it the hard way. I went out there and I grinded and I went to events and I tried speed dating and online dating. And I actually went to like different expos and conferences just to learn how to talk to people. At a big conference, you can speak to different people standing on all these tables.
Yeah.
I just went there to practice. So for an introvert, first of all, come back to why? Why do I need to network? So unless you have a really good reason why to network, forget it. Stay at home. Go stay at home, watch Netflix, no problem. So have a reason. I need to network because I'm looking to manifest someone in my network. Who do you want to manifest? Clients, investors? You want to manifest a life partner? You want to manifest friends? You want to manifest mentors? Okay. Once we understand who we want to manifest, can you write down or can you, think about, it's better to write down some words, describe who it is that you want to meet, like literally describe them some words, just like how today we would learn to prompt AI, you need to prompt yourself stating who you want to meet. So we need to start with there. And this is not just for the introverts, but for introverts, it's a lot better because an extrovert could show up at an event and he could just get into the networking and he'll get energy from everyone around. An introvert might not feel so comfortable to walk into an event with a lot of people all around. Maybe their energy will be drained faster. Maybe they're not going to be able to stay as focused because depending on the kind of introvert we're talking about. So one, have that kind of a goal and intention. Why am I going to this event? Who do I want to connect with? And it's nice to go in with some kind of an intention. It's not like I have an agenda, of who I want to meet. Just have an intention. Like, who would you love to connect with? Why not? Second thing you need to do is you need to open up your curiosity. Are you curious? Do you want to know more about people? So as an introvert, that really, really helps to be able to do some research in advance. Like, which event am I going to? Who are the organizers? Who are the speakers? Like, if you do some research, it's easier to start a conversation. So it's really, really useful to start a conversation with someone that you've done some research on. Like, hey, thank you for your speech. I just read an article about you. It was very inspiring. Go, oh, hello. Hi, you're Robert Jones. Yeah, Robert, I just read, a blog post about what you've written. It's very inspiring. Thank you. I'm happy to meet you at this event. For example, just it helps to starting and engaging with people. As an introvert, there's a lot of details that I can't get into today of where you should stand inside of the room. Like the actual positioning of an introvert in the room is very important from a position of energy management. But first one, have your intention. Second one, be curious, do your research, check out some more information online, check out who might be going, check out some of the VIP guests. Like you could do a lot of research on most events these days. And the third thing is the magic of all. And I'm writing a new book right now called The Follow-Up Code. And this is going to be for all the CTOs out there. The follow-up code is all about what's my next step? Now, I'm going to start a conversation with people, whether I like it or not. What's my next step? What do I do next? Do I send them a message on WhatsApp? Do I connect with them on LinkedIn? Do I follow up with them 3 days later? Do I suggest coffee? Do I suggest, do I recommend them a good book? Do I make an introduction? I don't send them a pitch. I don't start selling them anything. I don't say, hey, invest in my company. I need to follow up and then go back to showing more curiosity and then go back to telling them your intentions or your goals. It's a very beautiful cycle. It's almost like a lot of my CTO friends have taught me about iteration when writing
Yeah.
code, how iterate. So I've owned 2 software companies and I've learned a lot about iteration, the importance of iteration when writing code in the software. It's the same thing with networking.
That's very also insightful, Gil. Now, you touched on AI. So, how do you think AI could take networking to a better place, or it could take it to a more bad place? I would say. What's your intake on that?
Yeah, so that's such a really for me, this is a super cool question, Mehmet. This is excites me. I have 1,000 answers. I actually don't know if any of them are right. You know what I mean? Because AI came by storm. And I've been saying this for years to people in my community, guys. I still cannot truly fully systemize my networking code because I don't have AI. I'm limited by humans. And I've been saying it for fun for years, like 5 years. I've been telling people, like, I've launched masterminds in more than 100 cities around the world. And in all my masterminds, we've missed a component in the software that was fully AI. And when AI came in fully last year, I went full in. And like every single, since December of last year, every single day, I'm playing with AI. I'm downloading them. I'm buying all of them. I'm paying for all of them just to test them. I'm telling my team they all have to use them because AI on the one side has a lot of pros and the other side has cons. I don't want to talk too much about the negativities or the potential negativities or the risk of AI because there's too many,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to networking. We will hit some dark spaces in the world where people will not know who are they really networking with, like especially if it's virtual. Like they really are not going to know because AI, even today with pretty bad technology, AI could fully replace any and it could replace you with your voice, with your face, with your video, with your
right.
phone. AI can do that today fully. But what does that mean? So yeah, there's negativities, but everything has negativities. You know, if you look at the last 100 years of our existence, every time there was something good, someone saw bad about it. You know, there's always pros and cons. That's the balance of life. I focus on the pros. I focus on how can I use AI to help people understand what's best for them right now, next, when it comes to networking. How can I support people to know which events are best for them and how to make those events fit within their calendar? How can I support my clients to make sure not only do I get them a business assistant, but we now train business assistants on entrepreneurs how to become a networking angel using AI. And it's really cool because a lot of the entrepreneurs that I work with, they all need networking support. Someone to help them with inbox management. Too many inboxes. Whoa, it's all about networking. Someone to help them with calendar management. Whoa, it's all about networking. How do I allocate my time to people? My calendar is super beautifully organized, but it's very much in flow. It has a lot of flexibility. It's very fluid, but it's very well organized by a human and by AI to ensure that my days are full of impact. I have plenty of time to see my kids. I have plenty of time to hang out with them in the morning. Yesterday, Monday morning for the whole world, most Monday mornings people go to work. I did acro yoga with my wife for 90 minutes, and then I went for a 90-minute massage with her. And then I had a 2 hour kind of tea session without even lunch with her, just talking business because we have a really big company together. You know, and most people are like, how did you do that? Well, I have automation using AI in my system. So on Monday morning, most people feel that Gil Petersil is, and I don't need them to not know that it's not me because all I'm doing is I'm just responding to a lot of their messages. All I'm doing is I'm trying to get more information from them. All I'm doing is I'm saying, instead of sending me a 30-page white paper, please send me a 1-page teaser and maybe a short presentation because, hey, I'm dyslexic. I'm not perfect. I'd like to help you. But now AI can help me respond to people faster because not everyone has the experience I have. Because I have so much experience in successful failures in business, and I've lived in 7 different countries in my life, and I love people from so many cultures, I've understood that because everyone is so different, we need to adjust ourselves in order to connect with that person's network. And AI is almost like the translator. Not only can AI help me translate languages, but AI can help me get message across to people to bring them closer to me. Because at the end of the day, who I spend time with and who I focus on and what projects do I give my attention to, I believe that AI is the best friend I can have to help me truly do that. Because our time, this is really our biggest asset, our biggest commodity. And it's really beautiful to know, hey, if I'm going to want to serve the world and impact the world and be a good father and be a good husband and live a happy life, which I'm still learning how to do as a young student, we need the help. And why not allow AI to help us? Wonderful.
That's a wonderful way to look at things. And what I say, Gil, for people like yourself who have this experience, because AI at the end of the day, it's not. I mean, it requires information, it requires knowledge to work, and plugging it in virtually into people's mind, like yourself, like the big thought leaders out there, it will make a huge positive impact because I'm same side as yourself. I always tell people, hey, if you want to find out negative things, you can find easy about any technology. And just, like in one of my episodes, and I repeat this again and again and again. If you think like AI is bad, people were saying, look, the knife is bad because it can cut someone, right? So it's like any other technology. The fire is bad, knives is bad, uh, cars are bad because they can do accident, hit people. So you know, it's not the way we should be thinking. Now, one word we repeated it, you and me, Gil, and just for the sake for people to understand. You have worked in the world of networking, business strategy, but one thing we repeated it, which is the mastermind methodology. What can you tell us more about mastermind methodology?
Yeah, thank you. Masterminds have been, for me, something that really changed my life in my early 30s. I, when I was 33, Mehmet, I came across a mentor who, first time ever, told me to audit my connection. He wasn't a networking expert. He just said, Gil, from the feedback you're giving me, something wrong with the people around you. And back then, 10 years ago, I was just starting to really learn and trying to understand the different aspects and the complexities of human networking. And he said, listen, just look into your network. Today I call it networking audit. I have a whole methodology behind it. And back then I did this audit and I just kind of cleansed. Literally, I disconnected from a lot of people, a lot of friends. I wanted to create space. And in order to fill up that empty space in my life, I had to find new friends, new communities. And I kind of found that there is a hack to that as well. Instead of looking for individuals, I can find a community and bring them as one. And that was really like, whoa, hold on, this is interesting. Like, I suddenly don't have, literally, I cut out a lot of friends because not shared values. Like, I stopped drinking alcohol. They all wanted to party. I really wanted to be with one woman in my life, and I'm still with her today. And they still wanted to go out like with a lot of women. So I just kind of disconnected, which was a really emotionally challenging thing to do, by the way. Disconnecting from people in the network, not easy. If anybody wants to know about that, send me a message. Tell me who you want to disconnect with. I'll give you an awesome answer to that. And then I understood that masterminds is a way for me to bring in a group of people that I shared values. Maybe they'll become my friends. They're all in similar level of business. We could talk about business. We could share some ideas, sharing the knowledge, not doing business with them, but it was people that can maybe introduce me to someone that I could do business with. They don't need to be my clients or my investors. They can maybe introduce me to someone that can become my clients and my investors. I got super interested. I joined 3 different masterminds. I learned a lot about them. I spent a lot of money on mastermind over the years, of course. And then when I was 35, I launched my first mastermind. It took me 6 months to launch. Since then, I've launched more than 20 of my own masterminds, but more than 200 masterminds for entrepreneurs, for business clubs, for 3 different governments, for some of the largest corporations and banks in the world. I've given them the masterminds blueprints. Like I can today find someone, a founder can find me, and I can create the right mastermind for them, whether it's free or not free, men, women, mix, CTOs, marketing, whatever it is. There's an algorithm and a formula to this. What I love the most about mastermind, they're basically one of the coolest hacks in networking. So networking, you could see it as very long formulas. It's an algorithm. It's a very long algorithm of what you want and where you're going to go to get it and how many people you speak to. There's, many, many, many aspects and metrics that can be measured. A mastermind is almost like a hack of finding a shortcut to such a big algorithm with so many activities. And you could do all of those in 10% of the time. Oh my God. And this is why today all of my masterminds have very strict guidelines about people showing up for each other, about people having each other's backs, about mindset of going global. So all of the people in my masterminds, it's people that want to go global with their business, want to go global with their clients, want to go global with their families. Imagine moving countries is not easy, but imagine
Yeah.
you wanted to move a country and I can hook you up with a whole mastermind in that country. And suddenly in your first week, you have a group of friends that could talk to you about local activities. You have a group of friends that could become your friends. You have a group of people that could become your business associates, your advisors. And we love giving people such shortcuts to get basically, it's not fair that not everyone knows about these hacks. It's not fair that we're taught to work hard. It's not fair that we're taught to go to university for many, many years and then work up the ladder in the corporate world for many years. That's not fair. And, No one ever taught me that there's another option. And I didn't do well in university. And I never really found a way to climb up the corporate ladder. I just jumped up in the corporate ladder while I was there for 10 years. I jumped up, I leaped. And I understand today that back then, these were all networking hacks. I just didn't know they were networking hacks back then. I just thought like everybody must be doing this, right? And this is why masterminds for me are a great way to give people a lot of value in a very short period of time because I value people's time.
That's great to hear from you, Gil. Now, you are a mentor for thousands of startups. So, what are the common challenges you are seeing they face? And what's your advice? Of course, like we will not go for, I know we can go for hours on this, but on the high level, the most common challenges and how you advise them to overcome these hurdles.
Yeah, so that's challenges is very beautiful because we're all human and we all have challenges. I got
Yeah.
challenges, man. I got 3 kids, school kids. I got employees. I got multiple projects. I got clients. We all have challenges. I think that having those challenges and seeing them as opportunities allows us to see that it's just another hill we have to walk up. We didn't reach the top of the mountain yet. Hey, let's keep on walking up. Let's see what's up there. It's exciting. It's like there's another climax and another climax. Just because we have a challenge in front of us doesn't mean that we're not meant to go there. It means, hey, maybe if it's scary, maybe I should go there. Like I've gone towards my fears of heights. I found ways of dealing with them. I went towards my fear of water. I found ways of dealing with them and not getting over my fears, but going into my fears in the face. I had a fears of the dark. I recently, in the beginning of this year, I spent 4 days in a special retreat house in complete darkness, completely alone, in silence, which I thought would make me go crazy, but it didn't because it was just in my old program. And entrepreneurs have old programs in their heads, mostly because of the network they have around them. If they're finding it difficult to scale their business, it's because maybe the other entrepreneurs around them don't
Mhm.
scale their business. If they're finding it difficult to raise money, ask yourselves, how many entrepreneurs around me have raised money in the last 3 months? And if no one has, change the network around you. The most common challenges entrepreneurs have these days is all comes down to the way they network. And let me give you a few examples. Not having the strong internal networking skills does not allow you to become a leader in a team, does not allow you to build a strong internal team. That if the internal network, your team, is strong, your business can grow. That's a very important part of internal networks. A lot of entrepreneurs find it challenging to manage the external network. Their external network is everybody outside of their team, maybe like, some mentors, some friends, some family members are maybe there as well. Maybe they're not in the internal, they're out there. How do I monetize them? How do I ask them for help? How do I collaborate with them? How do I have fun with them? What is this network of people? How do I manage all of them? Oh my God, CRM system, phone. How do I keep track of them? How do I follow Gil? How do I follow up with 100 people a month? I tell people, let me show you tricks. How do you follow up with 100 people a day, not having to spend more than an hour? That's okay. There's systems of doing it, or just following up with 10 people a day, whatever you want. So there's the internal, the external, and then the outside network. And most entrepreneurs get the internal and the external network so wrong, they don't even get to the outside network. And the outside network are people that I don't know. It's my friends of my friends. It's people that I should get to know. I've done my research, or I'm asking for introductions, or I'm literally manifesting them and looking for blogs about them, researching for such people on LinkedIn, on Facebook if you want to, but on LinkedIn or just on Google, you can search for people. And the outside network is where I have the most amount of fun, where I show people how easy life could really get. I show entrepreneurs, stop with these challenges, like hire the person you need, not the random person who just needs a job. You know, get the investor you truly want, an investor with smart money that could be also a guide and a mentor for you, not just an investor that's going to hold on to your cojones. I don't want to say the other way. Well, hold on to this and squeeze every time you don't give them their money back. Find the mentors that really care for you. Get a good coach. So many people I meet, entrepreneurs, tell me we don't have a coach. Like my friends help me out, or my dad gives me advice. I'm like, No, that's awful. Your friend's job is to be your friends. And yeah, they can give you some advice. Your dad's job is to be your dad. And sure, give you some fatherly advice, but a coach is a coach. Finding mentors is finding mentors and stepping out of our comfort zone. In many cases, stepping out of our network zone and bringing those people in. And it's so much easier than people think. And in many cases, you can get it for free as well. And there's hacks around it all, which is why I always tell people, if you want to find a couple of hacks, send me a message. Just send me a message on LinkedIn and say, hey, I heard you on Mehmet and I got a question for you, Gil. And just do that because I love allocating my time these days to just making it easier for entrepreneurs to solve all the problems in the world. Because I know I can't do it myself.
Yeah, great. And this reminded me of, one of the famous, I think, interviews that Steve Jobs did. And he was saying, like, majority of the people, they don't act, although, like, it could be just now, it's like a message I had, but he said, like, it was a phone call I had because he remembered when he needed help to build a frequency counter and he had to call the CEO of HP. Like, like exactly the same message that that you are just giving now, Gail. Um, want to ask you before we are coming to the end. So you actually you have talked about this startup and the networking part, but there's something also that we didn't touch on, and this is about how it is important to align the business purpose with the authenticity, to be authentic. How do you see this principle translating into startup context, especially, and I covered this sometimes on the show, when trying to build a strong company culture?
So depending on who's listening to us right now, if it's startups or if it's a company culture, usually, requires to have a team, to have a team of 3 people. There isn't going to be a company culture. Just make sure you spend more personal time with them and you know something about them. Whenever I have small teams and projects, I implement very simple things like on Mondays and Fridays. On Mondays, I implement 3 minutes. Every single person I get on the call, every person has 3 minutes to share. How did my week end? How was my weekend? And how has my morning been so far? Very, very simple hack just to create some sort of a deep personalized connection between people. And I do similar things on Friday, but it's a little bit different to kind of allow the business and personal aspect of a person to be connected. Um, your question is very, very deep because the authenticity starts with open communication. Most entrepreneurs out there are just not, most, okay, they've not been taught how do I manage a team? How do I lead a team? How do I respect everyone? How do I hire a multicultural team? And yeah, there's videos out there, and some of them maybe have experience, they've tried it before, but there isn't a perfect formula to do it. What there is perfect formulas for is how to build rapport with another human being, how to create a heart to heart synchronized communication with another human being that you rely on. If I rely on people and I need to know that I can trust them and I need to know that they're loyal and I need to know that they will work their bums off on the weekend and at night because we have a big launch on Monday, I need to know that my mode of communication is authentic. It's open. I deliver on what I say. If I cannot promise something, I will not promise. I will ask for help. I will show vulnerability. If I've made a mistake, I will say I'm sorry. And again, I will ask for help. Asking for help in some cultures is a sign of weakness. But that is, again, a wrong program that my family, my father, my culture put into my head. It's completely wrong. Asking for help is a sign of strength. Hey, I got the base camp. I now want to get to the next level. I shouldn't just figure it out on my own. That's going to take me a while and it's going to hurt and I'm going to fall. Why? Why not ask people who are 3 steps ahead of me? Why not work with entrepreneurs in a mastermind that are 5 steps ahead of me? Why not find all the shortcuts? And that's the thing I see with entrepreneurs these days. And that's why authenticity comes in, where an entrepreneur says, no, it's okay. I'm okay. I don't need help. No, we're okay. Everything is okay. Oh, we're making changes in the team, or we're adjusting our presentation, or we're changing, we're pivoting our, no, come on, man. Just ask for help and get yourself out of your ego and get yourself stepping up and Stop. We're all going to fail. There's no one out there that's not going to fail. All of us make mistakes. All of us can lose faces. Again, I've had successful failures in 20 companies. I know what it means to make $1 million in one day. I know what it means to lose $1 million in one day. I know what it means to walk away from a multi-million-dollar business where I had shares on, because you know what? I didn't feel their authenticity. I didn't feel their ethics. I didn't feel that I need to be there. And my authentic self said, I'm going to step back and I'm going to walk into something else because, hey, I'm just 44 years old. I'm still a young kid. I got so many years ahead of me. I want more kids. I want more businesses. I want more opportunities. I want to change more lives. So whoever is listening right now, you need to ask yourself, how authentic are you with who you want to have around you? Are you honest with who you really want around you? Have you ever sat down and said, hey, you know what? Whatever I believe in, God, universe, consciousness, whatever you believe in, have you ever written down, who do I want to manifest in my life? Truly written down, who do I want in my life? Friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife. Who do I want? I want more partners. I want more clients. What kind of clients do I really want? And to me, that's being authentic with the message, because once we're authentic with who we want in our team, who we want as a community, who we want to influence, who we want to impact, who we want to have near us, this is when life becomes, a beautiful picture. This is when, we're lying to ourselves and who we want around us. At the end of the day, we're just hurting ourselves. If you go to the gym every day because you want to get healthy, but everything you do is just talk to people, you don't do any workouts, you're just lying to yourself. If you're saying to yourself you want to get healthy, but you're still having midnight snacks, you're just being unauthentic with yourself. And to me, having an authentic networking strategy, such a beautiful way to hack all the other systems and get all of our dreams to come true one at a time. No need to be overwhelmed by everything being true.
This is really so deep, Gil, and I'm happy. Like now at this moment, I'm happy that you mentioned this stuff because I'm hoping also someone would be listening and he would, like get this moment, like, oh, listen to this guy, what he's saying. I should do this because um, I hope that's what I can say. Before we close, I have a very famous question, which is,
Please.
which question you wish that I ask you today?
So I've heard this question before, and I always try to answer it in a different way. But what I tell people, that one of the greatest questions to ask me is, what don't I know about networking? Or what do I wish I knew about networking 10 years
Yeah.
ago? And these questions that I tell people is, first of all, if you're going to meet someone who you see as a mentor, don't ask them about them, ask them about yourself. That's something I always tell people, that I wish someone said this to me. Like, every time I saw a mentor, like I met up with Tony Robbins and I met up with all these, Richard Branson or Robert Kiyosaki and all these people that I looked up to. And instead of asking them about me, I asked them, what would you do? Or what did you do? Or what do you think? And it was not about me. It was not like, hey, this is currently my situation. And what would you do if you were in my shoes? Or what do you believe I should do right now? Giving them a brief, pre-framing people. So I really wish that someone taught me about the power of pre-framing when asking a question, to make sure that the person you're asking a question of knows that this is personal to me and you could truly change my world and the world of my whole community. I really wish that we had more networking classes in school. I really, really wish, which is why I'm the president of the president of parent committee of my kids' school. 3 kids are in the same school, and I sit on the board there, and I'm constantly sharing with teachers and with parents and even with kids different networking methodologies for all age groups, whether it's to raise money or grow a business, or replace marketing and sales and business development department with one new department, strategic networking department, and get much better results with less budgets. I love that now people can use these methodologies. And I just wish that more schools around the world will offer this to people, because networking is one of those gifts and one of those habits and rituals that can help people out of depression, I can help people into wealth. I can help people through situations like when we had COVID and lockdown. I can really help people through such situation. I can help people to say, that's it. I've had enough. I want to change my world now. And it's quite easy. You take a few simple steps. Feel free to follow up with me and I'll tell you more about those steps.
Yeah, I will make sure that I will put the link to your website and your LinkedIn profile in the episode description again.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, before I do my closing, I have to agree because I always also discuss on the show, and because recently, I'm bringing people like yourself, Gil, who are experts. Like for you, it's like about networking, growing businesses, entrepreneurship. Sometimes I'm having people in recruitment. Sometimes I'm having people in finance. And the reason I'm doing this because I agree with Gil. We need to add a lot of things to our education system because I wish that I had the chance to know about starting businesses, doing networking when I was kid. I'm sure like I would be in a different place today. So 100% on this. Well, Gil, thank you very much for joining me today. And, it was a very insightful, very rich, I would say, insights from your side as well. And I hope like you will enjoy the rest of the day today in Bali. I know that you have a special occasion today there. And thank you for
Thank you,
joining
Mehmet.
me.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you,
joining me.
Mehmet.
And
And thank you for the questions you asked me. I hope that your audience comes to you with some feedback and they have more questions. I hope to see you and your audience at some events, maybe in Dubai together. For
sure,
you personally, I would love to invite you to a Tony Robbins event that we're doing together with him in July in England. That's not far away from Dubai. And in Dubai, we will be there for a few events in September and October. I invite you and your community to join us and show interest and get
sure.
connected with our diverse community.
Sure, I would love to have this. Thank you very much, Gil. And as usual, for the audience, you heard what Gil said. Actually, it's what I say at the end of each episode. If you have any questions, any feedback for Gil or for myself, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Also, for you, if you want to be a guest similar to Gil today, don't hesitate to send me an email, reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter. I would be more than happy to discuss this with you. And if you are watching this for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you are listening on your favorite podcasting platform, also please subscribe to the podcast. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your colleagues. We are really trying to get the best content for you. Thank you very much, and we will meet in a new episode.
Bye bye.